This week, I learned that not every feeling deserves the same response. Some feelings need to be felt because they're asking to be witnessed, and some feelings need to be set aside because they are not telling you the truth about who you are. A woman called me brave, and it made me sad. My mentor told me the feeling of being stupid was irrelevant, and somehow that humbled me. It made me realize how much I'm still ruled by my feelings. Same week, two different situations, but in the end, the same lesson. I know this is still a growing podcast. I don't have thousands and thousands of subscribers listening to me yet, but I know some of you are repeat listeners. I want to thank you for coming back to listen to me week after week. Thank you for being part of what I feel like is my inner circle. Today, I'm recording this not as a polished episode. Today, I'm recording this as an update from my week. Welcome to 1-800-Gold Digger, a space for honest conversations where I share the ugly truth that lives underneath all the glamour and celebration of success and growth. I'm your host, Mika Liu. Let's diving into today's episode. To the listeners who keep coming back week after week, I may not know your names. I may not know where you listen from. In the car, on a walk, doing the dishes, folding laundry at the end of a long day, in the small moments nobody else sees. But I know you choose to listen. And I want to thank you for doing that. Thank you for choosing to press the play button and listening to a podcast that's still growing. I'm not a celebrity or a certified expert at anything. I'm just a driven woman who wants to share a safe space with other driven women. Thank you for choosing to sit at my small table with other fellow driven women who understand something about ambition, identity, and the unspoken realities behind the highlight reels of success and growth. I want to share two things from this past week. They are completely different things on the surface, but after some reflections, I realized that they taught me the same lesson. The first one made me sad. The second one made me feel stupid. Both of them taught me something about what to do with a feeling while you're still becoming. The first thing happened when I was talking about this podcast with a group of women. I was telling them why I started it, what I have been sharing, what the space has become for me. And one of them said something. She said, I was brave. Brave for doing this. Brave for sharing these parts of myself. Brave for putting my stories on social media where people can see them, judge them, misunderstand them, or recognize themselves in them. She meant it as a compliment, nothing else. And at first, that's how I received it too, a kind compliment. But later, when I sat with what she said, I started to feel something else. I started to feel sad. And I had to ask myself, why? Why would being called brave make me sad? On the surface, brave is a beautiful word. It sounds strong. It sounds admirable. But there is a sadness inside that word that we don't talk about enough because most people don't become brave in a vacuum. Most people become brave because something required them to be, because life asked something of them before they were ready, because they had to survive something they didn't choose, because they had to become strong in places where they should have been allowed to be soft. So when she called me brave, part of me felt seen, but another part of me felt sad, because I suddenly remembered that my bravery has a history, and not all of that history is beautiful. The things that made me who I am today were not the gentle things. Some of them were family dynamics. Some of them are things I have talked about on this podcast. Some of them I haven't talked about and I haven't shared them yet. And some of them I may never share because not every wound is ready to become a story. Not every painful memory needs to be packaged into content for people to consume. But whether I share them or not, they were real. And I think that's what hit me. Because when you don't talk about something, a part of you can almost pretend it never happened. Your body knows, your memory knows, but it can't stay hidden. You can keep functioning. You can go to work. You can record a podcast. You can be the woman who looks composed and capable and put together. But once you start saying it out loud, something changes. Now it has been seen. Now it exists outside of you. Now someone else's knows. There's relief in that, but there's also grief. Because saying it out loud is also admitting, yes, this happened. Yes, it was real. Yes, it shaped me. Yes, I survived. And no, I cannot pretend that it didn't happen. I cannot pretend it didn't matter. There's no closing that door again. That's why the compliment made me sad. Not because she said anything wrong. She didn't. It just touched a place in me that still grieves. What happened in that moment is that I started grieving myself, not the woman I am today. I love her. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of the woman who can speak, who can show up, who can sit in discomfort and still press publish. But I was grieving the younger version of me who had to become brave before she was ready, the version who had to become strong because that's the only option she understood, the version who learned to carry things by herself and not tell anybody, the version who sometimes wishes she had a better childhood, a better relationship with her mother, a more supportive family, more moments where she could just be taken care of instead of being the strong one. I'm not telling you this to blame anybody or to make myself a victim. I'm not telling you this so you feel sorry for me. I'm telling you because I think a lot of women know this exact contradiction. You can be grateful for who you have become and still grieve what it took to become her. You can be proud of your strength and still wish you hadn't had to learn it this way. You can love your life today and still mourn the parts of your past that hurt. Those things can coexist and live together. And maybe maturity is learning to let them without forcing one to cancel out the other. And here's the reframe I keep coming back to. The bravery was never the talking about it. The bravery was living through the things I'm now able to talk about. So yes, she was right. I'm brave, but not because I'm fearless, because I survived. And maybe the bravest part is not even the surviving. Sometimes it is just letting the thing be real, not performing it, not making it into a lesson, just admitting it happened and that it can still make me sad. The second thing happened in a completely different part of my life. It happened at work. I was talking with my mentor about something I didn't fully understand. And I'll be honest with you, I felt stupid. He was patient. He was generous. He was prescriptive in the way he explained, step by step, in plain English, so I know exactly what I needed to do. Instead of only feeling grateful, which I did, another part of me felt embarrassed. Why do I need this explained to me so clearly? Why am I not there yet? Shouldn't I already understand this? The fact that he needed to explain to me step by step in plain English, doesn't that mean that I'm stupid and I can't catch up? And because I trust him, I said it out loud. I told him I felt stupid. And what he said stayed with me. The feeling of stupid is irrelevant. What's relevant is that you are moving in the right direction. And then he reminded me that what I'm doing is not easy, that I'm doing well, that things are moving the right way. I cannot tell you how much I needed to hear that. Not because it erased the insecurity, but because it put the feeling in its place. The feeling was real, but it was not relevant. I haven't stopped thinking about that sentence he said to me. The feeling of stupid is irrelevant. At first, it sounded almost harsh because when you are inside a feeling, the feeling feels like the whole truth. When you feel stupid, you don't think, I'm having a temporary emotion about learning something hard. You think, I'm stupid. You collapse the feeling into your identity. You turn a moment of learning into a verdict about who you are. And that's where a feeling becomes dangerous. Not because feelings are bad. Feelings are information. But information is not the same as instruction. A feeling is not always qualified to make the decision for you. The relevant question was never, do I feel stupid? The relevant question was, am I moving in the right direction? Am I learning? Am I taking the next step? Am I willing to ask the question instead of pretending I already know? If the answer is yes, then the feeling of stupid doesn't get to drive. It can sit in the car, it can make noise, but it does not get to tell you where to go. And this is where I realized that my 2 stories from this week taught me the same lesson. Because the sadness I felt after being called brave was not irrelevant. That feeling was pointing to grief. It was pointing to a part of me that needed to be seen. It was asking me to slow down and listen. That feeling needed care, but the feeling of stupid at work needed something different. Not to be ignored, not to be shamed, but to be put in context and set aside. Because feeling stupid didn't mean I was stupid. It meant I was learning something hard. It meant I was standing in the gap between where I am and where I'm going. And that gap is not failure. That gap is the process. So maybe this is part of becoming, learning to tell the difference between the feelings that are asking to be felt and the feelings that are asking to be challenged. The feeling that says, this hurt me, I need compassion. The feeling that says, I'm grieving, I need some space. The feeling that says, I'm not capable, I need to build more evidence. The feeling that says, I'm stupid, I need to be reminded, no, you are learning. I understand all of this in theory. I can say sometimes we cannot trust our feelings. I can say keep going. I can say growth happens when you keep taking the right action even when you don't feel ready. I have literally said those words on this show. But in practice, it is so much harder because feelings are convincing. They arrive in your body before logic has a chance to speak. Embarrassment makes your face hot. Shame makes you want to hide. Grief makes your chest heavy. Insecurity makes you question everything. And in those moments, it takes real self-trust to say, I hear you, but you are not the whole story. That's why I'm grateful for my mentor. Because sometimes you need someone who can hold the bigger picture while you're still inside the feeling. Someone who doesn't dismiss your feelings, but also doesn't let every feeling become a stop sign. Someone who can say, yes, I hear that you feel stupid, and that is not the relevant point. The relevant point is direction. That's such a rare thing to have in your life, and I'm grateful for that. So to the women who are sitting with me at this table right now, I'm here to admit to you, I'm still becoming too. I'm still learning how to share without exposing every part of myself. I'm still learning how to tell the truth without turning every wound into content. I'm still learning how to grieve my past while honoring the women it built. I'm still learning how to feel stupid without letting the feeling decide what I'm capable of. That's the part of becoming that doesn't make it into the motivational quotes. Some weeks you feel brave and sad at the same time. Some weeks you feel grateful and embarrassed at the same time. Some weeks you're growing and grieving at the same time. And all of it counts. That's growth too. So if you've listened all the way to the end of this, here's my offer to you from this episode. The next time a feeling shows up and tries to tell you who you are, stop and ask yourself, is this feeling asking to be seen or is it trying to drive? Because those are not the same thing. Maybe there's a feeling you are carrying right now. Maybe it is sadness. Maybe it is grief. Maybe it is the feeling of being behind. Maybe it is the feeling that everyone else understands something but you don't. Your feelings are real, but they may not always be relevant. And growth is learning the difference. And some feelings are just fear pretending to be the truth about you. And fear does not get to decide where you go. The hard part was never having the feelings. The hard part is learning which ones to trust. If something resonated with you, something this episode stirred up for you, send me a voice DM on Instagram at 1-800-GOLD-DIGGER or write to me one-on-one privately at hello@1800golddigger.com. Tell me your story, tell me which feeling you are learning to witness and which one you are learning to set aside. With your permission, it could become part of a future episode because this show was never meant to be just mine. It was always meant to be ours. This is 1-800-GOLD-DIGGER and I will talk to you